Congressman, get serious and talk about your state and the flooding there. What's the latest you know? What needs to happen next to help the people of South Carolina?
Well, what we need to happen is for the rain to stop, which stopped today. We had 24 inches of rain in Charleston in about 48 hours. We had another 16 inches in Columbia in that same time, and that 16 inches of rain in Columbia is now coming downriver to Charleston. We're being told today that the rivers in Charleston won't crest until Saturday. So we've got some public safety things to deal with. We've got to get some people out of harm's way. We've got roads and bridges that may be unsafe. We need to make sure that folks are safe to get back on the road. It's pretty rugged. It's a tough time to be in South Carolina, but we'll be fine. All we need right now is for the rain to stop.
Congressman, your party's in the middle of a leadership contest that has gotten probably more interesting than the party would have wanted it to be, with Kevin McCarthy's comment about the Benghazi committee the other day. Give us a sense of what you think the political consequences of that comment are when all is said and done, both for the committee's political effectiveness and legal effectiveness, and also for McCarthy's chances of being Speaker.
Yeah, if you go back and you actually watch what he said, I don't think it was nearly as bad as folks made it out to be. But of course, in this business, perception sometimes is reality. I think it's probably more damaging to Kevin individually than it is to the committee. I'm somewhat biased because the committee is run by a good friend of mine, but I think Trey has done everything possible to sort of dispel the idea that it was politically motivated in the first place. And actions, at the end of the day, may still speak louder than words in this town. So I'm not too worried about the committee. We've got a hearing coming up with Secretary Clinton at the end of October, and I think the committee will ultimately be judged by the work product that it puts out and the process that it follows. Kevin, on the other hand, is dealing with some challenges now as he prepares to meet with the House Freedom Caucus tonight to make his pitch to be Speaker.
Congressman, what did Congressman McCarthy say that's different from what he's portrayed as saying? How would you explain the difference?
Well, I think you read some of the headlines. He says he admits it was political. I've seen the ad this morning that Hillary put out saying that he admits it's political. It's not true. The answer was given in a question to, are you fighting? And he said, look, we did the Benghazi committee. If he'd simply come out and said, look, one of our jobs is oversight, and one of the things we need to do is hold the president accountable for how he runs the presidency. So firm oversight on Benghazi is what we're supposed to do, and we've done it.
Congressman, I got to say, that's not what he said. He was asked what the accomplishments were, and he said the accomplishment was we did this committee and our political numbers went down. So it doesn't seem to me what he said was mischaracterized.
Well, I don't think he admit causation, or excuse me, correlation. I don't think he said we did it in order to drive her numbers down, which is what's being portrayed. Well, he was asked what had been accomplished. Right.
So he said, well, here's the thing we accomplished. We did this committee and our numbers went down. Seems to me pretty clear cut. Look, I don't want to beat the horse to death, but it seems to me that part of what is going on now is you all are trying to circle the wagons around Mr. McCarthy because he's going to be Speaker, when the reality is he said something pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I still think he misspoke. I don't think Kevin believes that it was politically motivated. Kevin's been involved with this from the very beginning. I don't think Trey Gowdy's ever used Mrs. Clinton's name. I could be wrong about that.
Did he misspeak, or was what he said mischaracterized?
I think it was a little bit of both. And face it, you do what we do for a living. You talk all day. You're going to misspeak from time to time. It's unfortunate, and it may impact him, but I don't think it's the end of the committee, and I certainly don't think it's the end of him.
Congressman, do you think that, that Congressman McCarthy will be Speaker or not?
I think it's very much still up in the air. Kevin doesn't have 218 votes, which is what he needs to be Speaker. He's meeting with the House Freedom Caucus tonight, about 40 of the conservative right-wingers in the party, as are Mr. Webster and Mr. Chaffetz. And I think it's still very much up in the air. Kevin is the leader in the vote tally. That probably goes without saying since he's the majority leader, but it's far from over.
You are an endorser of Rand Paul's, I believe, in the presidential contest. Can you give us a sense of how concerned you are by the state of his campaign? A lot of people think he is somewhere close to out of the race.
Yeah, you know, I spent the day with Rand down in South Carolina, and we stopped by the side of the road twice to eat, not planned events. Just we were hungry, so we ate like ordinary human beings. And 30 people walked up to him and said, hi, I really like what you're doing. Welcome to South Carolina. Yet he's polling at very low numbers. Are you telling me that John Kasich, who is polling above Rand Paul, could walk through an airport or walk through a barbecue joint in South Carolina and anybody would know who he is? I spoke to 600 people at the University of South Carolina. I asked them one question. Raise your hand if you have been polled in this race. Not a single person raised their hand. So, yeah, I'm worried about poll numbers because I know what I do for a living, but I don't think it's over yet.
Are you saying that the polls inaccurately state Rand Paul's support, that he's actually like a front runner or something in this race?
No, come on, I didn't say that, and you know that. But we all know that we're having difficulty in this business right now finding people who will vote. Eric Cantor went to bed 2 nights before his election 2 years ago and thought he was up by 20 points, and he got killed. So all I know is what I see in the state, and what I see in the state is that Rand Paul is bringing new people into the party, people that the other anti-establishment candidates are not bringing. Trump doesn't bring those in. Carson Fiorina, not even Ted Cruz, is bringing new people into the party. But we've got African Americans, you've got Hispanics, and it's not on a watered-down message. It's not on pandering. It's just Rand talking about what he wants to talk about. So.